Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is part 14 for a step-by-step guide to learn Angular. So if you are directly coming to this video, I will recommend you to watch previous video first and then you can come to this video. This is a application we are going to develop in this complete video series. Today we are going to develop a web API for our registration form which we developed in the previous video series, and we are going to use ASP.NET Core 3.1 for that, and we will use Entity Framework Core for that, and we need some softwares for that. We need Visual Studio 2019, and we need Postman to test our API, and we need SQL Server. So I already installed all this software. If you don't have that software, so you can use this link to download the Visual Studio, and you can use this link to download the Postman, and this is for MS SQL Server. Or you can use any other database, and instead of Visual Studio 2019, you can work on Visual Code 2. So let's create our to-do database. So this is SQL Server Management Studio, and I'm clicking on database, right click on that, and then we can see new database. And here I'm giving the name is to-do, and let's click OK. So it will create our new to-do database. So now I'm going to click on new query, and I will add a table for our registration form, which should be similar to our registration view model. So let's see what is we have in our registration view model. So this is our registration view model. So we are going to create a table for this model. So let's do this. So we have successfully created our user details table, and you can find this SQL in the description block. Now go to Start menu and open the Visual Studio 2019. And to create a new solution, we are having the option Create New Project. So click on that. So we are having different options. So I'm going to select ASP.NET Core Web Application. Let's select this and click on Next. Now I am giving the name as to do, and solution name also I'm keeping same, and I'm clicking on create. So now we can see multiple templates here like empty API, web applications, Angular, React.js. So as we are creating a API, so I am selecting API here, and let's click on create. So Visual Studio by default created one controller for us, and now to continue we need some NuGet packages. So go to tools and go to NuGet package manager, and click on manage NuGet package for solution. So make sure you're on the browse. Now first package we need is Microsoft.visualstudio.web.code generation.design. So this package helps to generate a controller and view. So let's search for the Visual Studio. Now select the first package, then scroll down, and now we can see this stable version. So select this one and click on install. Now we need one more package, that's Entity Framework Tools. This will help us to create a DB context and model file. So let's type. Now select this and scroll down and click on install. Here click on OK, then accept, and now it should install. One more package we need is Entity Framework SQL Server. So this helps to work with the SQL Server. So let's search for that. Yeah, select this one, scroll down, select the stable version and click on install. Now click on OK and accept. So now we are doing reverse engineering and we are generating our models from database and tables we created. So let's go to tools and then NuGet package manager and open package manager console. So this is a command we use to generate entities from database. So here this server should be your server. User ID should be your user database ID and password should be your database password. And if you created database with the name TODO, then it should be TODO. If you create it with something other, then you have to give the database name here. And here this output is a folder name, what name we want to give for generating our entities classes. So I'm giving it as a entities. If you want to change it, so you can change it as per your wish. So let's click on enter. Yeah, so it successfully created our to-do context file and our user details entities. So if we see our DB context file, so we can see we are adding this connection string inside the code, and it's not good practice to add a connection string in the code. So let's move this to app settings.json. So I'm going to copy this and I'm opening application.json, and here I am adding connection strings, and under that I'm giving name is to do db and paste it here. So here in the connection strings, this C should be capital, so let's change it to capital C. Save this, and in the to do context I'm going to remove all this method. So let's remove this. Now let's read our connection string. So for that, open startup.cs file, and here in the services I am going to add service dot add db context, and I have to give my to do context here, and here in the options let me write this lambda expression, and in the options we can see use SQL Server. So I'm going to call this method, and inside that we can pass our connection string. So now before that, let's read our connection string. So for that, let's add one variable here where connection equals to configuration, and here we are having method get connection string. So in that we need to give the name of our connection string. So name of our connection string is, let's open a settings.json, and we have this TODO is our connection string name. So let me pass it here and pass this connection to our use SQL Server method. So let's replace it here and save this. So now I want to create a controller for our to do. So let's go to controller, and here right click on controller and select add, and now select controller. So here we can set different options. So as we are creating API, so I should select API, and I am selecting this last one, API controller with action using entity framework, and let's click on it. So I am giving selecting our model class, which is user details entities, and our context, which is to do context, and yeah, this controller name I am giving keeping as a user details controller, and let's click on add. So as we selected scaffold template, so Visual Studio created this get and get by ID and put and post methods for us. So all this code is generated automatically. We can use that. So first, let's run our application. Go to IIS Express and click here. So by default, it's opened that weather forecast controller, which is created by default by API template. So now let's move to our controller. So for navigation, if we can see our user controllers, we are having a route API, then controller name. So let's copy this API, open the browser and give it here. Then we have to give name of controller name. So this is user details and click enter. So we can see we don't have any record now because we did not edit any record. So let's post some user details first. For that I am going to use Postman. So let's open Postman. So this is our Postman, and I'm going to create one new collection. So select this new button and select collection here, and then I'm giving name is to do API as my collection name, and click on create. So now under this collection I'm going to create one new request. So select add request here, and give name is post user details, and save this. Now open this and change the method to post, and we have to give our URL. So this is our URL, copy and paste it here, and in the headers we need to define what content type we are going to post. So that is JSON. So here let's give content type, and here it should be application or JSON, and in the body we have to give our if we can select in the body this raw, and inside that we can paste our JSON. So our JSON should match with this model. So let's copy this first name And here I am giving first name as Tapan, and now give comma, and let's copy this last name, and this should be Dubey. Now email, I am giving my email ID, and in the password, let's copy password, and I'm giving password as a 12345. That's all. Let's click on sign button. So we did not get any response because when we created API, we enabled that SSL certification. So we need to disable that in the Postman. So go to file, go to settings, and in the general block, I can see SSL certification verification. So it's on. So let's make it off and save this, and now click on sign button. So now we can see that our new record is created, and we received 201 status code, created state code from our API. So let's quickly verify in the browser, are we getting this record or not. So open our browser, and yeah, so we can see our new record is created, and our API is ready to post our registration form. But there is a one more problem I can see, that our API port, that API origin is 44325, and our UI origin, your UI port is different. And if I will post from that domain to this domain some request, then it will not allow. We call it as a cross origin request. So by default, API will not allow to accept uh, requests from cross origin. So we need to enable that for our API domain. So that we will do in the next step. Yeah, so that's all for this video. In the next video, we will enable calls for our API. Thank you for watching.